Sensational comeback from Manchester United. 1-0 down on the brink of defeat. Bruno Fernandes with an inspired, intelligent goal from the club. And then the man, Sir Marcus Rashford. 9 games on the bounce he scored in at home. The first player to score in more than 7 consecutive games on the bounce for the club since Ruud van Nistelrooy. He equals Dennis Violet's home goal scoring record. He's a match winner. He's world class. And Man United are on their way to being back. What a turnaround. We looked dead and buried. Martial came off. We couldn't hold up the play. City took over. Luke Chadwick scored. And you're thinking to yourselves, what are Man United going to do? Where are Man United going to go? How are Man United going to move forward from this point? What's going to happen? And then the boys played through to Marcus Rashford. And he was offside. He was in an offside position. But he let it go. He didn't try and touch the ball. He didn't try to play the ball. And he did not impede an opponent. He left it for Bruno, who steps up in a big game, who gets the equaliser. And then it was game on. Garnancho, an inspired substitution by Ten Hag, trusting in youth at the most famous club on planet Earth for giving youth a chance. And the way he rolled. I don't even know if it was Luke. I don't even know. I was in Euphoria. Was it Carl Walker? Was it Akanji? Was it Ake? I don't care. Man got rolled. Like he works at Greg Baker's. Squares it, and there he is, Marcus Rashford. They said, who's he scored against? Is he a big game player? Marcus Rashford said, yes, I goddamn am. Man United's winning run has been challenged. Everyone forgetting that we beat Arsenal, beat Liverpool, played well at Stamford Bridge, smashed Tottenham. That's all being forgotten about. But today, Man United say we are. And are we in the title race? Yes. And I'll tell you why we're in the title race and why you got to think it. I'll tell you why. I want to put the pressure on my players. We ain't no small tin pot club. Oh, don't put the pressure on the players. They might not be able to handle it. We need to see if they can handle it. I'm so proud of these boys tonight. I'm so proud of Ten Hag because we had fight. Everything I've been asking for a decade. 10 years. I've been begging. Where's the passion? Where's the hunger? Where's the fight? Today we showed it. But we showed it in the midst of a run where we've been playing well, winning games, keeping clean sheets. This was proper title-winning football. This is proper Manchester United. This is what the big boys do. Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Leicester City, in the last decade have all done this. This is where we should be. It isn't a brilliant result in the middle of loads of bad games and performances. Now we go into Palace. Let's win that game. Let's put ourselves, whatever Arsenal do tomorrow, let's keep ourselves 6 points behind Arsenal before we play them next week. Arsenal, best team in the league. Don't expect to win at the Emirates, but we can. And can is all you need. That is what sport is all about. Can you do it? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. And do you know what? William, my little hater here, who says, Terry, fake heart problems. I didn't have heart problems. I had chest problems. But they've been resolved. My antibiotics and my anti-inflammatories. My chest is good, bruv. My chest is good. Man, don't fake shit, you piece of shit. Go fuck yourself. Want to come out here and give me bullshit. Happy my team won. You want to shoot at the king? Don't damn miss. Proud of my boys today. Proud of my boys. We'll stand up for them every single step of the way. Because as long as they fight for me, I got their backs. All I need is new owners so I can give them money and then we're back here. But my God, what a damn good game. What a derby. Let's just settle for a minute. What a derby. What a derby that was. Tactical masterclass in the beginning. Both teams finding each other out. Both teams not wanting to commit too much. Man United with clearly the better chances in the first half. Rashford should have scored. I think he should have scored the second opportunity especially. And you're thinking, have we let something slip through our fingers here? Second, and then Rashford picked up the injury. Brandon, who's backstage, I'm like, I think we're done. Rashford's going to go off. Martial comes off the pitch. We couldn't hold the ball up. We were struggling to hold on to it. City were recycling it well. Then Luke Chadwick comes on, and they're just putting too much pressure on Man United. And Luke Chadwick gets his head to the ball, and he puts City ahead, and you're thinking, they're going to kill us now. They're going to kill us. And do you know what? I was so proud of Ten Hag. He said, listen, Garnancho, you're coming on. Go win us the game. Man United, go and attack. We were playing pragmatically. We were playing in reserve because we didn't want to open up and get beat. But once we were losing, who cares if it's 2 or 3-0? We need the 3 points. And they went out and did it. They went out and did it. And listen, there's going to be controversy around Man United's goal. There's going to be controversy around Manchester United's goal. But it wasn't offside. I'm going to make this little statement now. You can send it to the biggest YouTubers in the world. I don't care. Come on and show me the law where that's offside, and I'll pay your mortgage for 5 years. I'll pay your rent for 5 years. I'll put your kids through school. I'll give you 100 grand cash today. It's not offside. Rashford made no attempt to play the ball, control the ball, or interfere with an opponent. He was around it, no doubt. It's not against the letter of the law. As soon as that goal went in, I'm like, it's going to stand. I knew. And it did. And I'm so happy. Again, learn the law before you come. There'll be controversy around it and challenge from City fans, I'm sure. And Marcus Rashford. I'm saying it now. Marcus Rashford is world class. Rashford's in the best period of his career. But this is Rashford. And he's gone to that next level. He had 18 months of standing still and regression. And that was all because Man United were just in the mud. The team had fallen apart. The discipline was gone. The fight for the club had gone. There was no style. The tactics had fallen apart. But now the team has got a foundation. It's got a shape. It's got a base. The best winger in the league right now by a country mile. Show me another person that scored the amount of winger that scored the amount of goals as him and is in this type of form. You won't find me anybody. And he's got back to where he was 2 seasons ago. And he's a world-class player as far as I'm concerned. And I mean, people were challenging his big game prowess before this game kicked off. And what was crazy for me is Rashford is probably of current players in the Premier League. He's one of the best big game attackers out there. His goal ratios, assist ratios in big games is massive. But Marcus Rashford is world-class. He delivered hugely. And this team, with a number 9 that can hold the ball up, not having to rely on Martial that's got the injury problems, we are in this title race. We should be in this title race, and we should be beating Palace away on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever we play. And we should be going into that Arsenal game not overconfident, not arrogantly, but with the confidence we can win. Everybody wanted Man United to lose today. Everybody wanted Man United to fall off. Everybody wanted Manchester United to squander this opportunity. This run meant nothing. The unbeaten run means nothing. Yes, it's only 1 defeat since City humbled you 104 days ago, but it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything, Terry. It's Fugazi. It's a patsy. Shut your mouth. Today, you've been bodied. Today, you've been schooled. I did predict 2-1 as well. I said Man United would win it 2-1. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to go check the timing of the goal. I don't want to get it wrong. About the 75th minute, I thought, no. We're in trouble here. Bruno Fernandes ending the myth that he can't perform in big games. That's gone. Toodle pip. Rashford silencing his doubters forever. And Man United showing that we are getting back to business. And this has all been possible because the manager has been allowed to instill discipline. He's been allowed to instill culture and a set of behaviors. Therefore, the tactics manifest themselves on the pitch. I'm a happy Man United fan right now. The Glazers are going in a few months as well. There will be new owners by the summer. We're on the up and up. I'm buzzing. Super chat before my panel comes out. And I'm very excited to get the panel out today. I really am. Make sure like buttons are being smashed, by the way. Make sure you are subscribing to the Football Terrace. Really important to us that you get that done. Get yourself subscribing to us right now if you haven't done so already. Let's go to some of your opinions now because they matter a lot more than mine. They really do. Goal was off an Arsenal win, the Manchester derby. Goal wasn't offside. I get you think it was, but it wasn't offside, proven by law. Remember, offside decisions are not objective. They're not subjective. They're objective. Did he touch the ball? Did he try to touch the ball? Did he interfere, block a defender? If he doesn't commit any of those 3 actions, it can't be offside. It's not subjective. It's did or did he not. He did not. Therefore, goal. The law says the goal stands, but the laws aren't always right. Lots of psychological and positioning loopholes for being offside. If you don't think the law is right, I will accept that challenge. The law I do think it's a dumb law, but the point is, under the letter of the law, it's a goal. So it was the right decision. Thank you very much for agreeing. One, that match was awful. Two, United far better without Martial. Three, United are by far the best team in the league. Sadly for you, Terry, they'll batter Arsenal as well. Obviously, not sadly for me. Firstly, that match, if you think that match was awful, if you think that wasn't a good game of football, Chris, I don't know what planet you're from. And if Man United batter Arsenal, trust me, you will see this same energy. I've respect for Arsenal this year. I've given them praise, but you'll see. 9 straight wins, top 4 got for sure title. Listen, I look at it this way with Man United. I expect us to make top 4 now, and I expect us to be in the title race. Not to win it, but I don't expect us from this point to drop away and finish 15, 20 points off the league title race. Absolutely not. Put pressure on your club when you spend what we spend, when you're the size that we are, because standards must be high. And if we can all tell Arsenal fans to adjust their expectations in the season, Man United fans must do the same because we're a big club, not a tiny little tin pot organization. One loss in 19 games, Terry. They said we haven't played any big teams on that run. Rivals are scared. I agree with you profusely on that comment there. They're fearful. Arteta, go get the title because we are coming for it next season, is what OK has got to say. Shout out Malacia and AWB. Listen, Malacia brilliant today. Brilliant. And I loved how he did what Gabriel Jesus did. Banged his head and faked a head injury so that the play got stopped. Everyone should do that when they go down there to pretend they got a head injury. AWB, the turnaround in him since the return of the league after the World Cup has been brilliant. And I'm not saying he'll stay beyond next season, but as an inverted fullback, he's brilliant. Defensively, he's brilliant. So absolutely buzzing for both of them. We've been beaten. Who have we beaten? Have they said? Now what are they going to say? Well, we've beaten everybody in the league this year, really. Like, as in every category of team. We've beaten the best team in the league. We've beaten the second best team in the league. We've beaten Tottenham. We've beaten Liverpool. We've drawn with Chelsea and Newcastle. They're kind of the best teams in the league. We beat Fulham that are having a very good season. Like, all we've really got to do now is beat Brighton and Brentford, and we've beaten every type of team. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, for me, 110%. Like, United can't be challenged anymore in terms of we haven't improved. Now the challenge is, can we maintain this and continue to grow? That has got to be the next challenge. Sir Marcus Rashford, MBE, MVP. Terry, your juju is real. Everybody played well. Eric Ten Hag is amazing and he needs to be backed. Mate, I love my club. Thank you very much. Listen, I agree with you. I love my club as well, my friend. I truly do. Nabil here says, this is Manchester United. Bruno can teach KDB how to play number 10. Garnancho was amazing. Where is KJ? Bring him on. He would take a draw. Shameless. Yeah, but he'd take a draw and wanting a draw are two different things. At 1-0 down, I was happy to take a draw. But yeah, Bruno was great today. By the way, I thought KDB actually played well. He was marshaled by Fred, but KDB had a good game today. I'm not going to slag him off. He was very good. I thought he was very, very good. City lack pace on the flanks. Haaland is not Thierry Henry without service. Knew United would come back, ready to sound those drums yet and believe, Terry, you are the only team to beat us in the league. Well, as I said, I believe that we're on our way back. We're not back to our absolute best, but we should be in this title race now. A howler from the rest, heuristically shielding. He shielded the ball. There's no law against that. He didn't shield the ball. He just got out of the way. But I hear your point there. Eric will tug hard tonight. I don't think he'll be tugging hard tonight, bro. I think he's on the phone to the missus. It's like, crack those red panties out. Get the champagne out. I'm on my way home, baby. That's what he's going to be saying. Glory Bruno, glory Garnancho, glory Rashford, glory Ten Hag, glory, oh glory Manchester United. Can't wait for the likes of Thogden to apologize to Rory. Haaland overrated. Come on, you Gooners. Spurs to lose 3-1 to Arsenal. Man United, well done. Welcome in the race is what Jake says. Gooner Duke says, good match. Exciting. Old enough to remember the Fergie era. United and Arsenal rivalry is kind of annoying, but I hope it helps us next week like the old days is what Gooner Duke has got to say. Terry, this is Man United. We stick our chest out with pride. They've done us proud. We move in silence. Yeah, we ain't moving in silence no more. We are there. We are in this title race. we're in the title race, especially if Arsenal don't win. If Arsenal lose tomorrow and we beat Palace, this is what's mad. Arsenal lose to Palace, Spurs, we beat Palace. If we were to beat Arsenal, we go level on points with them. That's how quick it can turn around. So pressure needs to be applied, but belief needs to be had as well. Man United scare me, is what Belgium Heskey's got to say. I am bringing my panel out soon, by the way. Nobbins is coming on. We've got Brandon, KJ, Oh My Dizzy. We've got Canadian Cam, Man Like Sunshine. Of course, KJ as well. We'll bring everybody on in a moment. I'm going to get through these super chats, though, because you guys deserve it. Let's get this stream past 1,000 likes. You know, I shouted so loud. My chest is starting to hurt now. Because I know it's not my heart. Who gives a shit? And I can't drink because I've got to drive into London soon, so I'm on water. But when I get into London, see that there? That's going to be vodka instead. On it, bruv. My daughter said, lol, as a City fan, when Jack scored, you don't want to see that was sent back. Biggest club in the UK make a statement. This is what big clubs are about. Let's effing go United. It's from Pricey. Josh here said, they said we played nobody and we'd get humbled. Suck on that. Love that we came back. Ten Hag challenged the boys and they delivered. Pep can't say nothing. Barca had so many goals like that. Listen, City can say nothing. City scored a goal, I want to say it was against Aston Villa a couple of seasons ago, where they were 35 to 40 yards offside. 2 days later, they changed the law of the game to make sure that would never happen again. So City have had those decisions as well. Even though I support Liverpool, but looking at City and Liverpool going forward from a football perspective, they both have to they've been tactically studied from the Prem teams, and more teams will do that to them. Good point raised there. Haaland equals quiet equals City quiet. Old Trafford is a fortress now. It absolutely is. George says, happy for you, Terry. Always great when your team wins the derby, especially in this manner. You lot are getting spanked next weekend, though. George, and I can look, I'm not even thinking about that game yet because we've got Palace next, but it's going to be very interesting indeed. Who have they beaten? They said, what are they going to say now? Shout out Malasio. Sorry, AWB already done that one. United were brilliant. AWB was brilliant. Yes, he was. That's from Leicester's season. And by the way, I'm so glad we won because I knew I was going to get schooled for calling Jack Grealish Luke Chadwick once he scored. So I'm glad we won. If he wasn't interfering, what is he doing? He's just slowing down. Rashford was sprinting, which he's allowed to do. He's just slowing down his run. That's what he did. He didn't even know the ball was there. Didn't see it. Didn't play it. That's all he did. He said, I'm Rashford lawyer today. Marcus Rashford is the scariest forward in the league. But right now he is. On form he is, but he is world-class. Thank you, Rash, for becoming an official member. AWB was twisting City players up. Do you know what's funny? He had some skills in the second half, AWB, where he shouldn't have even been able to do them because he was like all confused himself, like a drunk spider. But it worked. It worked. I don't care. I love that guy. I've always loved AWB. But when he weren't playing well, I was like, we've got to move him on. But if he keeps playing like this, I love it. I love it. By the way, the best performance I've seen from Anthony since he arrived as well. He didn't score, but best performance from him. The heights by great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden flight, but they while their companions sleep, they're toiling upwards in the night. That must be a poem. I probably butchered it, but thank you very, very much, my friend. Chris here says, as a defender, I see a man in a forward position. I'm going to come back to that when the panel come out. We'll come back to one to talk about the offside. As an Arsenal fan, I'm nearly done. Your super chats are amazing, though I respect them so much. It says, as an Arsenal fan, I was celebrating the equaliser, the winner. I was sitting there thinking Jess should do a United scare me vid. Well, I ran into the other room when we got the winner. And Jess kind of celebrated the equaliser. Oh, good. And the equaliser, I was running over the sofas and jumping around. She gave me a dirty look. So there's a significant change in Arsenal fans' view of the first goal to the second goal. And I'm not too sure if I should leave this room once I'm done. We've got like an hour and a half drive together later. That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. AFC Max here says, Arsenal players will be watching the game, licking their lips. If Arsenal win against Spurs and United, boy, uncomfortable conversations. This isn't the same City this year. Fair play, United. I agree. If Arsenal win the next two games, you're talking a chasm of a lead. You really are. Cullen here says, thanks, United. Welcome to the race. Looks like Arsenal aren't the only team that are back. Manchester is red. Arsenal now need to show Spurs that North London is also red. New owners equals scary. Glory. Manchester United. Bruno, Garnancho, Rashford, Shaw at centre back. And listen, I'm going to say the super chat as well, because Shaw at centre back needs a conversation, because everybody said it wouldn't work. I even said I don't think we'll see it again. But imagine it. This is the soundbite. Get ready to clip it, KJ. Imagine the best number 9 in the world getting pocketed by an overweight left back playing centre back. The City fans were singing, "Get your tits out for the lads," and he just pocketed Haaland. Luke Shaw at centre back pocketed Haaland. That's it. That's the soundbite. No banter's even needed. Just saying those words is comical. Comical. What a performance. What a performance. Terry, your reverse jinx yesterday worked. Thank you. Listen, I've got skills when it comes to jinxing things. Should have been a witch. What a performance from our steady Eddie. Graham Souness must be feeling like a silly Billy right now. Yes, he must. And Casemiro, listen, he had a few passes that were a bit wayward. KDB run past him for the goal, but he stepped up and delivered. Brilliant. He really, really did. What about Luke at centre back? Yeah, as I said, mate, sensational from him. And Pennant wanted City to humble United. Who got humbled now? Yeah, Jermaine Pennant and his bank balance have been humbled this month. So that's all I got to say about that one, Pennant. Out there throwing them shots. This is 100% Eric Ten Hag. I love him, is what Nabil has got to say here. Viewers, it's time for the panel. And I don't even know, I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6 people backstage. I mean, 7 in total. We're going to do a big panel. We're just going to do a big panel. We're going to do a big one for this game. We're going to get everybody out at the same time. And obviously, Nobbins has turned up as well. So we've got a City fan who's turned up, which is rare, to be honest with you. But there we go. There's a few new super chats that have come through. I'm going to save because they're about they're good conversations for the panel, actually. So we'll star them and get them saved. Keep the super chats coming, though, people. We really do appreciate it on the football terrace. I mean, I do, most certainly, and no KJ does. And that's it. I mean, we're basically the football terrace, aren't we? It's in the people that run it, but there we go. The super chats won't stop coming. I can't even keep up. It's crazy. We're back up to like I think I might have started some I've already done. I'll go back to them. Panel time. I'm rambling. I'm so happy. Let's go.
Let's bring the Arsenal. Bring the Arsenal. Let's see it. Let's flipping go. Bring the Arsenal. Oi, listen. Flipping listen. See the best bold flipping manager in the flipping league. I said it yesterday. Everyone loves to chat. Chat now, people. Chat Talk to them, now. KJ. Chats now. People love to chat. People in the chat love to chat. Chat now.
Tell them again,
Everyone
KJ.
Now. Everyone was saying, "Oh, the run don't mean nothing. We're supposed to win every game.
Talk that talk, KJ.
Nothing. Who have you played? We played nobody.
Talk that talk, KJ.
Man City. We're beating Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham.
Yeah.
Who have we beaten? Nearly the whole flipping league. That's who, people. Everyone needs to stop chatting crap on our name, because you man love to chat the nonsense, but you can't see Jermaine Pennant. You can't see. You need to be humble, because you can't see what the best bold manager is doing at his football club.
Talk that talk, KJ. Talk that talk.
I'm tired of people love to chat trash on my team, calling Marcus Rashford Trashford, Rash Bandicoot, overrated. His form, he's always been dead. This is just good form. This is Rashford. We've been seeing this. We saw this 2 years ago. He had one bad season, and people had to write him off. Look at him now. Everyone said he was done. He was finished. Look at the resurgence. The IQ didn't touch the ball. He knows the rules. Many of you don't clearly. Many of you don't clearly know the rules, because he knew. That's why he does this, because he knows. All of you guys chatting wasp, bro. I don't care. I'm flipping gas. Everyone was saying we're going to get demolished. Everyone said it's over. It's done. We're going to return back to the pits. Bro, what are we saying now, people? What are we saying now? The best flipping manager in the flipping league. The best bold manager in the flipping league. Let's flipping go and flipping care. We're coming for everybody. Everybody.
All eras come to an end. Eric Ten Hag said it, and he's back in the chat. The man said it, and he's backing it up with his, oh my God, I'm losing it today. Can you believe what just happened? Our manager said it. He said he's coming for Liverpool. He said he's coming for City. 1 loss in 19. Title charges on. I said it. Result. I didn't say we had to win. Result against City. And we're back in the title race. Somehow. Bring me Arsenal. Brandon, are you scared? Bring me Arsenal. Oh, let's go.
I want to get into some of the talking points. I know everyone's excited. First one we have to speak about is, should Bruno Fernandes's goal have stood? Nobbins, you're a City fan. What do you think, mate?
I can see both sides of it, to be honest. For me, it's one of those that, in a normal situation, it's one of those where like VAR wouldn't interfere with it regardless of whether it was called one way or not. My initial instinct was it was a fine goal. Having looked back at it, I think I'm more on the side of, is Rashford shielding it? Because it's not just a case of, if Rashford just sort of backed off, then there wouldn't be a question mark over it. But if you watch it again, Rashford approaches the ball and then he proceeds to like do some sort of like fake shot shenanigans with it. And I had my Manchester United friend next to him, and his question mark was, you know, he's not interfering directly with the ball, but does that maybe interfere with like Edison's decision making, because he's now got to think that Rashford's going to shoot it. So I can see how it works both ways. I'm inclined to edge it being it probably shouldn't have stood. However, regardless, I think that's a bit of a red herring, and that doesn't justify City just in like 5 minutes later capitulating and conceding another goal. So I'd probably edge it to being it probably shouldn't have been awarded, but at the same time, I don't want that to become the huge talking point of the game. And it doesn't, and City have no excuse for allowing the second goal in like straight after. So that's my sort of thoughts on it.
Can I say, I think it's a subjective decision. Interfering play often is a subjective decision. It's not. That's why sometimes they leave it up to the referee to decide. Sometimes they even send him to the screen. I think the law's rubbish. I said that about the Salah goal against Wolves, and I said that about the Mbappe goal against Spain in the Nations League. The law's rubbish because for me, interfering with play, the ball was played to Rashford. He makes a run towards the ball. For me, that's interfering with play. But by law, the only thing that makes that offside is if Akanji has to slow his stride pattern to actually get to the ball, because Rashford would either be interfering with Akanji getting to the ball, or if he touches the ball, makes a fake shot, anything like that. He didn't do that. The ball was played in front of him, and he continued to run, but at no point did he stop Akanji getting to the ball, nor did he fake shot to send the keeper the wrong way, anything like that, and Bruno capitalized. So by law, unless Akanji was stopped from getting the ball, for me, it's onside. But the law is rubbish. I think the law needs to change in general. But as the law stands, for me, that's a go.
Yeah, listen, I think you summed it up perfectly there. It's one of those things where by the law it was a goal, but the law is stupid, just like the Mo Salah goal the other day. But interestingly, in the first half, the Mo Salah situation happened and Malacia was given offside. I don't know who it was. It might have been Bruno took a shot. There was a clear play for the ball because I think it was Rodri blocked it. It blocked and went out to Malacia, who was out wide, and they gave it as offside. And I'm like, how's that any different to Mo Salah's goal the other day? So I completely agree. Does anybody think it wasn't a goal? Does anybody think it should have been chalked off? I'm sure no one's gonna, because obviously a lot of the viewers.
I don't care, I don't care, bro.
Look, I know we all want to talk Man United, and we'll get on to Man United, but I want to ask a question about Man City. Is there something wrong with them? Because
yes.
What is it? Because they were good today, but they weren't scintillating.
Erling brought Haaland.
Terry, literally, Nick's on the money, man. I've been saying this for the longest year. I said, look, now, yeah, you brought in Haaland. Haaland's doing, don't get me wrong, that Haaland is doing his job, bagging goals, doing his thing. But you have to understand Pep Guardiola football. He doesn't need 10 men, and that's including the goalkeeper. It needs every 11. And for their system to be absolutely bang on, they need the right profile. Haaland is not a profile that fitted any of Pep's decent Man City teams. It isn't. Now, I think there's been a drop-off, not massive, but there's been a drop-off in the sense of their consistency to be able to complete the same patterns, because they are more so, again, at times, if the ball's on the edge of the box, normally they're making a pass out wide either to one of the fullbacks or to one of the wingers. But now they're actually whipping balls into the box to try and get Haaland's head. They're losing possession from that, and they're getting open on more counters. So watching City, I'm not seeing Pep Guardiola football at its highest because of the player profile they've got as a striker. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with that, but I think there's a slight drop-off in the sense of how they actually play football. It doesn't take away from Haaland's brilliance. It doesn't take away from the quality, but I don't see, as again, over 90 minutes, I dare say their creation and the manner in which they create their chances is at the same level as it was when they were at their most successful. Their Aguero's standards. Now I look at Aguero, yes, goal scorer, in and out goal scorer. But in terms of his effectiveness on the pitch, he did a lot more work off the ball and got involved much more in deeper areas and in midfield, in build-ups, as opposed to Haaland does per 90. And I think that is a small difference. It's the only difference I've noticed. And again, I'm one football fan of many, so I could be wrong. It's just an observation. But based on observation, that's why I think genuinely people need to start looking at, because other than that, I can't see any other angle.
No, I disagree. I don't think it's Haaland. I think Haaland's doing what he's supposed to do. I think it's the wingers next to him. They don't make runs in behind enough, and they don't drive at players enough. Jack Grealish came on and changed the game for Man City because he was driving at our defense. Cancelo got clearly told to drive at the defense. Do the same with Kyle Walker. When they're going running at players, Man City are dangerous.
Yeah, but Casey, that's today, bro. I'm talking in general.
Yeah, but I think that's in general as well. I think in general they don't run at players. They've missed that. They're missing Sterling. They're missing Sane.
But that's the Haaland effect, because he got rid of Sterling, he got rid of Jesus to get Haaland. And I'm not saying they couldn't afford him without, but those players weren't going to hang around
100.
knowing that Haaland's coming in. It's not Haaland's fault.
It's not Haaland's fault. No, 100%. It's not.
Haaland is the guy who he is. He's doing the job that he's always done. They know what they bought. But City are, listen, everyone said about Ronaldo and everyone was cool with it. Let's call it what it is if we're going to be balanced. City are not better with Haaland because they don't have as much control over games with Haaland. He will always score if he can. But for me, they're conceding more goals, they're conceding more chances because they're not controlling the games. And that's because you got a big man up there. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I think they need to change their way if they're going to have control of the games.
I don't agree. I think that the reason why City maybe aren't having as much control as usual this season is because you're seeing uncharacteristically poor decision making by such excellent players. I think you saw it in the first half. The likes of Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva, normally simple passes is what they're best at doing, but across this whole season, it's not even been a case of they're trying to force the ball to Haaland. They've just been off it this season. I don't buy the narrative that Haaland has come in and he's changed the way these midfielders are operating or anything. I think just a lot of individuals are just having poor passing seasons, and Haaland is more than capable of dropping deep and linking play, and we even saw that in today's game. So I'm not really sure I agree with that narrative.
I was gonna.
So go on, Dizzy. Go on, bro. Go on.
I was gonna say, I was interested to see what the City fan thought. Sorry, I didn't get your name, brother. But what's it called? If you've been watching Pep all season, he's been putting out little hints that he's not really happy with where the mentality of his team is. And football is a game of mentality, man. Look at Rashford. He started scoring goals. He got the confidence, and now his mentality is always there. Of like, bro, all I need to do is get in position, and I'm gonna score. And so for me, I think it's a case of the complacency of winning so many on the bounce. You got players like Bernardo Silva that were flirting with a move away in the summer. You got people like Raheem Sterling that's no longer there. And now you got Foden, who isn't really playing in the Prem. He's played a couple games more recently, but he had gone for a long part without playing. I think mentality is everything, man. And I think that's why we won this game today, because their mentality's been a bit off and ours hasn't.
I agree. I think a lot of the points that have been raised are fair. I do think bringing in Haaland's a change. I do think the passing and the bits Nobbins has said is right. But I also think when you've won those 2 leagues on the bounce, doing a 3-peat is hard. Maintaining that level of intensity needed to win a league, it's spellbinding. It's so hard to do. There's almost that element from players, and it's generally subconscious that does it. Almost like they stop trying a little bit. It's like, oh, we've done it. Do we have the energy to go through this again? You get it with some fighters, and I learned this more through speaking to fighters than anybody else. Some fighters would like win a world title, have a couple of defenses, but lose their desire to keep going. Where others, it's all about winning multiple belts and how long they can maintain being a champion. Some, it's just the top of the mountain is becoming a world champion. They get there, and the fall off can be quite quick because they just not stop wanting it as much. And mentalities. I work with a guy actually who I work with a guy who sold a business recently, and they offered him a job to keep running the business, and they sold it for a lot of money, and he made a lot of money, and he did like 6 months of running the business still. And then he's like, guys, I've got to leave. And it's like, why? He went, it's so hard for me to get out of bed now because I don't have the motivation to run the business anymore, even though he's been running it standing on his head for years. So I totally get you got to leave, Cage.
Yeah, I've got a dip. I just want to say I love Ten Hag. I love Rashi.
Thanks.
I love this team. I'm loving what we're doing. Just need to I need to call out Nabil. Listen, you're sending in your super chats. Great, fine. But we've just beat Man City and Manchester Derby, and all you can think about is me. Bruv, get me out of your head. The rent, listen, I don't even want no rent. I don't want no rent. I'm living in your head rent free. I don't want it no more. You know what I mean? Get me out of your head. I said we was going to get a draw. I thought we was going to get a draw. I predicted the draw. I got it wrong. We won. Why are you thinking about me, my friend? Focus on what we both love, which is we both love Erik ten Hag. We both love Man United. Stop trying to call out fans and focus on just being happy, my brother. All right, everyone. Enjoy the stream. Nubbins. Respect you for coming on. Man United. Let's flipping go, baby. Let's go.
I'll see you in London later, KJ. I'll see you in London later. Yeah, listen, I totally get where he's coming from. People are going to call him out. We spoke City there. On Man United, the big question, I mean, there's individuals to speak about that we will get into. Your super chats have been starred, people. So we will come back to your super chats later in the show. We haven't ignored them, I promise. Are Man United now in the title race?
100%.
100.
100%. Man, I said it. So sorry, I was the first. A few weeks back, I told Terry, look at the table. I literally said, if we get any result against City and then beat Arsenal, we're in the title race. But
this is it.
if we beat City, now we're in it. That's it. Now we're in it because we don't now we just need a result against Arsenal at the Emirates.
No, but Cam, we're 6 points behind Arsenal. They've got a game in hand. If they beat Spurs, which they're capable of doing, that's 9 points. Even if we beat Arsenal, it's still only six. It's still 6 points. That's still a big gap.
Look at the strength of schedule remaining. You have to look at the strength of schedule remaining. We have now played everybody twice once we played Arsenal, except for Chelsea, right? Arsenal has got a hard schedule.
Yeah, can I just jump in here as well? Right, we've still got to play Man City twice. Let's not forget that as well.
Light work, Brandon. Light work. We showed you today.
Now, I see what you're saying about it being a 6 point gap. A 6 point gap is not a big gap at all. Can I just say as well, right? I think we all need to sit here and thank Mikel Arteta and thank Erik ten Hag for igniting the true big club rivalry back in the 2000s. Because at the moment, I see Manchester United as our closest rivals for the title. I don't see Man City being our closest rivals this season because we're all talking about Haaland, and I agree with the Haaland analysis as well, but I just don't see the same desire and hunger from Manchester City players that we've seen in the last 2 to 3 seasons. And Manchester United are quite similar to us. You know, I was messaging Terry earlier and saying about it, when you was 1-0 down, I think you'll be title challengers no matter what happens in this game. And he was saying about Rashford and how important his goals are. And you're kind of in a similar position to what we are. Like a handful of our players, like Thomas Partey, for example, if he gets injured, all of a sudden our title race it could be over. It's the same for United. If you can keep these players fit, I think you'll be there or thereabouts, definitely. Especially with the fixture run-ins and that as well. And I'm not going to lie, I'm scared. I'm scared about this game next week. I'm scared about the game tomorrow now because it has put major pressure on us. Not just because it's Tottenham and we had to win the game at Tottenham anyway, but we don't have a great record at Tottenham. And now there's even more pressure for us to win that game. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting the next couple of weeks.
If Arsenal draw with Spurs tomorrow, there could be 1 point between first and third come the end of next week. Because City are playing Spurs, we're playing Arsenal. And obviously, Arsenal will have a game in hand on us. If Arsenal lose to Spurs, we could be top of the league.
I was gonna say, give me until the end of next week whether or not I think we're in a title fight. But I will say this is a warning. This game today, this run that we've been on, this is a warning that if you put the right pieces in front of Ten Hag, we could be right there. So if we're not challenging this season, next season you gotta be scared. The season after, you gotta be worried about us 100%.
Especially, and this is the thing, is new owners, and I'm saying we have to put pressure on ourselves to be in the title race, because we've got to put these players through acid tests. You've got to challenge them. If we as a fan base, and in turn Ten Hag do this whole, I don't expect Ten Hag to publicly say it, because what you don't want to do is potentially put egg on your face. I want the manager publicly to play it down. Obviously, the people like Mike, Love United, Hate Glazers, those people online will, all they want to hear is, yes, we're going to win it. But they only want that so they can then call them a failure if they don't. They're so calculated. I don't want the players to admit they're in it or say we could win it publicly yet. I want them just doing the whole game-by-game thing, keep it very PR-based. But as fans, we've got to put pressure on us to be in the race. And what I mean by be in the race is when we get to game week 35, I don't expect us to be more than 6 points behind the team on the top. Six to 8 points, maybe. That is in a title race for me. I don't think we'll win it, because I think Arsenal have been better than us. And I can't write City off from not having a resurgence. You can't write City off from signing a player next week or two, because City got the money for it, and then suddenly again, boom, and being dynamite again. But Manchester United they should be considered in that space. And the turnaround in how we play, and the comeback today was special, because when that goal went in, I don't know about the rest of you United fans here, but there was almost like an element of PTSD and, please don't let all that hard work crumble and then lose by 3 or 4 goals and just be embarrassed and humbled. And the fact we didn't, and we came back, and Garnancho, Rashford did brilliant. We'll move on to him. But what I loved about Garnancho, it was the epitome of Man United, an academy player brought onto the pitch, a winger, run at your opponents, scare them. And he did. He put some fear in them, because the difference between him and all the other wide players is he wants to take people on. And players that can take you on and beat you are scary. They move the needle. They create space for others. And he was such a pivotal turning point. And some update here, being told it's 1-0 to Brighton. Being told it's 1-0 Brighton against Liverpool is what we believe.
You will be there or thereabouts. I'm telling you that now, right? Because I look at today, for example, you had Luke Shaw playing at centre back. You was missing your best centre back this season in Martinez in this game, and you still got a result. Aaron Wan-Bissaka has just turned it around completely. He looks like the £50 million player that you brought originally. It's like, it's not just the capabilities within your team, but the players that looked like they was near or nearabouts out the door, or didn't look like they was good enough. Eric Ten Hag has improved them massively. So I look at Manchester United squad, for example, and compare it to Arsenal squad, and you have got players like in terms of depth that, your manager is getting the best out of these players, and he's also getting the best out of your first 11. We haven't really got that depth at the moment. So that's where I'd kind of, I don't know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
For me, when this game finished, I was like, go and get this man some players. Like, look what Weghorst ain't moving the needle. He's not good. We need him. Martial has got his injury issues. We need him. We need bodies. We need people. I don't want anyone to go out on loan. Whether it's Maguire, McTominay, Elanga, I don't want no one sold this window. We need the players. We're playing too many games. But the man is doing what he's doing with, I'm not saying these terrible players, but hamstrung, hand tied behind his back. Go out and get in someone, and then we can say, right, let's challenge on all 4 fronts, or at least 3 of them.
Couldn't agree more. I want to go to some of these super chats, boys, just because I want to respect him here. Nabil here says, cheers, Brandon. Nabil here says, actually, it's great. I can put you guys into that setting now and change the background. It's a little neater and tidier, but there's so many of you, and I wanted to get everybody out because I was in a good mood, and I'm just like, nah, let's just get everyone out. Is it me? Is it just me? But my heart dropped when Rashford went down. Again, current Man United positions is 100% on Eric Ten Hag. Haters will be crying today, and I'm loving it. That's the fact your heart drops when Rashford went down shows you we need more players, because it was like, where the goal's going to come from if he's not there. On Ten Hag, it is 100% him, but I have to praise the running of the club, because they've allowed him to discipline people. They've allowed him to drop people. They've allowed him to sell people. And that's why I'm so happy. That's going to be ignored by most Man United fans. By the way, it is a 1-0 to Brighton. Someone in the comments was lying. that discipline is what I think has taken Man United to another level. Enigma here says, when was the last time Man United won at the Emirates? I don't even know. 3 or 4 years ago?
Probably Lingard dance.
Yeah,
football.
a long time. Do you realize that you are cheats? Sorry, that you cheats are now legitimate title contenders. Listen, if you want to, when Man United start getting called cheats, that's when you know we're coming towards the back. That's when you know. Yeah. City's defense were playing a very high line, even when they were leading. That helped United a lot, in my opinion. See, I don't know about you, Nobbins. I felt like City dropped their line a little deeper in the second half, and that stopped us from knocking those balls over the top. And I thought it was a good move, but I don't know. I just think you played it where you played it, really.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yes, no, go on.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say that I think also what helped was, I touched on it earlier, that in the first half, the reason why it looked like City were playing such a high line is that our midfielders kept giving the ball away in dangerous areas and playing right into United's hands and hitting them on the counter-attack. In the second half, our midfielders, when they got to the forward positions, were actually stringing passes together and not giving it away in dangerous areas. So we saw it happen less that United were able to get into these counter-attacking areas up until the first goal, which we've already discussed. So yeah, I do agree with you there.
I think, obviously, if I'm okay to jump in there and inject, one thing I noticed with City was Bernardo Silva dropping a lot deeper to collect the ball. I think in the second half especially, that's when I started to see a difference in how City were playing. I don't necessarily think... And I've got to put a bit of respect on Ten Hag here. I know you can appreciate your plays being sloppy, but usually you do have a bit more time on the ball. I think the pressure from the shape of Manchester United and the fact that you couldn't get into a consistent form in the game, the first 45, did show and wear on those players. And again, I know the mentality has been spoken of already for Man City players, but I think we kind of delved into that. And I said, when Bernardo Silva was dropping deeper, you had an extra man at the back collecting the ball. And of course, he's a great player. So you were able to unlock and get past that first line of press. And I think that's when some of your plays kind of happened. And United did look stagnant from that moment. So I'm giving a lot of respect to Bernardo Silva for that passage, because without that little change in him coming deeper to collect that ball and give you an extra body where the pressure was, I generally think United could have easily walked away with that, a 2-0, 3-0 from their moment. But yeah, that's just on that moment.
I hear you on that.
Tactically, it felt like at the start of the game, both managers were playing for a draw. I'm not going to lie. The way City was playing, I've never seen them play. It felt scared for a bit. Like there was a lot of back passes and sideways passing. Obviously, I think that had a lot to do with Fred. Making sure KDB doesn't touch the ball. That it just reminded me. We all were talking about the Herrera versus Hazard play. That's what it felt like. It was like, let's just take KDB out of the game and see how it goes. And then the second half, I was saying it from the start. I was like, you could tell Eriksen had to come off. Like for me, Bruno has to be in the midfield. That's why I felt like we were playing for a draw at first, because Bruno out on the right, he doesn't impact the game nearly enough. He just doesn't. And when we put him in the midfield, it just, you felt it. You're like, all right, now we're going for the game. It doesn't feel like we went 1-0 down, so we were no longer playing for a draw. But I think as soon as we decided to turn things up, it changed everything. Bringing on guard, like Terry said, the kick came on,
I think
put so much threat on it.
But I think so. I think the reason it looked like that is neither team wanted to lose it too early, because if either were too open and you get caught and you're 2-0 down after the first 20 minutes, it's that uphill struggle in that regard. So I kind of like that tactical approach, really.
It was a good game.
Yeah, I'm going to get through some more of these super chats because there's a lot of them. As a defender, if I see a man in a forward position, I am unsure who to commit to. Marcus's presence means we cannot go forward to Bruno. Counter this, Terry. Well, the point is this. Man United conceded a goal in the FA Cup against Everton a week or so ago, where the ball went through David De Gea's legs. There's a ball that was played over the top in the build-up that Varane got his foot to, because it would have fallen to Connor Cody at that point. I think it was Connor Cody. The only reason Varane semi-cleared the ball is because the ball was going to land to an Everton player who was subsequently offside. He would have probably took a swing at it. The flag would have gone up, no goal. So our defender only cleared the ball because he saw an opponent there who was in an offside position. It's the same difference. It's a bad law, but it's not offside. That's the point, because Conor Cody you can stand in an offside position all day as long as you don't touch the ball or step into the way of a defender. Like that's the point I'm making. It's not
the essence of the law. You're allowed to stand in an offside position.
Yeah. So Chris, there is no counter. It's not subjective. There's no opinion on it. If he didn't try to play the ball, like try to touch it, or stand in the way directly of a defender, you can't give it. Bad law, I agree, but right decision based on it. I have to.
Sorry, Terry, just before you carry on, but I've got to shoot, man. But obviously, big up to everyone. Enjoy the win, and hopefully we'll speak soon, man. Big up yourself.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much,
guys. Make sure you like that video, man. Like the video and support the terrace, man.
This is. I have to admit, I was impressed with United. They are in the title race. They have a really good manager, and they're playing his way. Arsenal, over to you. Guardiola has just said that I don't care about the Premier League or Carabao Cup. We cannot win them. We have won a lot. Pep has already ruled City out. Mind games. I'm saying that's mind games. Personally. Garnancho has a higher ceiling than MG. I mean, on Garnancho, boys. I mean, talk to me. Talk to me about this kid.
I mean, I was calling for him from time Eriksen got booked. I was like, yeah, get him on. Get Bruno in the middle and get Garnancho out wide. As a matter of fact, when Rashford went down injured, I would have, if he actually was injured, I would have brought on him before Anthony. Obviously, Anthony came on for Martial in the end. But you just know the guy, he's playing with no fear. Every time he gets the ball, as you mentioned earlier, he wants to go at his man. And defenders, there's two things defenders don't like. They don't like fullback specifically, really, but defenders in general. They don't like being stood up one-on-one with a guy who can go either way, because he uses both his left and his right foot. He goes inside and out. And they don't like someone running in behind. So you got Rashford, who wants to run in behind, and Garnacho, who wants the ball to feet. And he can run in behind as well, but he's direct. I was like, get him on, and this City defense can be got at. We've seen all season they can be got at. So, yeah, this guy,
I said this earlier, and I got receipts. I said I reckon Garnacho might announce himself to the world today. He did. He has let the world know now that who he is, the player he's hopefully going to become. I do not want this to turn into Garnacho starting and anything like that. I've said that he needs to continue coming off the bench for the rest of the season. He needs to be that player that's our spark plug, and eventually work his way into the first 11 properly. I expect Erik ten Hag to manage him right. I don't want him to go down that route of, like we've said it a few times, we shouldn't be relying on him to win us games, but it's a beautiful thing when he does become the match winner, right? Because today he was. Realistically, if you think about the whole game changed, he was the match winner, right? So I love him. Sorry, go on.
Totally agree. Orchie here says United and Gooners need to calm down. This weekend isn't even halfway through the season. There's so much of the season left and plenty of time for injuries and both teams to be derailed. Do you know what I'd say, Orchie, very quickly on that? Is you're right. Both teams could have mass injuries and fall apart, but you don't predict. I think you predict where you're going to end up with moderate level of injuries, because we all get a moderate level of injuries. But if we all just made predictions based on what if you lose half your starting lineup, you'd never predict anybody winning anything, nobody getting into the top. Like Man United and Arsenal are the best two footballing teams in the country right now. Results, the football, everything collectively, we're the best two teams on form. So if you look at the last 10, 12, 15 games, whatever it may be. But Man United are in this top four race, and it's a big day for you guys tomorrow, because if Spurs lose to Arsenal, what is that? That's going to be, that means, it depends what Newcastle do, but behind Man United now, you're 5 points behind us, and we'll have that game in hand against Palace. So you lose Spurs to Arsenal tomorrow, and United beat Palace, that's an 8-point gap, and that is a long way to come back from. Big up to City fans on the panel. Showing up after a loss is class. Spurs fans can learn a lot from you. That is true. They never turn up, to be fair. Pick one or two, Terry. United thrash Arsenal, but City win the title. Arsenal thrash United and beat City to the title. Let's be having you to. If they're the only two options, I want Arsenal to win the league. So I don't want a three-peat. I've been very honest about that. But if they're the only two options on, I mean, I prefer the third option: United to beat Arsenal and United to win the league. That's and by the way, my energy will change towards wanting Arsenal to win the league. If in like 4 or 5 games time we're joint on points of Arsenal and playing well, I want us to win. Like, come on now, that should be not. But if they're the only two options, you know what one I'm picking. I don't want a three-peat. Man United will be in the title race if they beat Arsenal at the Emirates, where they don't have a good record. I mean, that would throw the cat amongst the pigeons. Colin here says lacking pace on the wings, but their desire doesn't seem to be there anymore. Haaland is incredible, but Pep's teams have never relied solely on one man. Nabil here says people who are crying about the goal were the same ones crying when clear offside goal cost us. They didn't cry now, but we will celebrate it now. It's football. Get over it. KJ is still shameless. Let's get through these, and I want to ask you one final question, guys. I remember all the Man United, sorry, that Man City goal against Villa, where Rodri came back from an offside position to take the ball off Mings. Yeah, everyone's had those. All the big teams have had decisions that have been dodgy as a £9 note. Massier says, remind me when Ollie was at the wheel, wasn't your form like no? In the first handful of games it was, but at no point under any manager since Fergie have we had a run like this in a season where we've won this many games, but we're playing sustainable football and we're beating big teams. It's always been a smidge of, it's always been two of those, one of those three or two of those three things. But we have never been this good in terms of on the eye. We've never had a run as good as this. And within that run, been beating good teams. We've never done.
Let's not kid ourselves. All of our wins against City in the last 10 years have been smash and grabs. I'm not going to pretend that they haven't been. Like today wasn't.
I agree. And look, we're only 2 points away now from being at the same stage that Jose's team was in 2017-18, which was the best league performance we've had since Fergie. But the football is more sustainable. We were all saying back then, is this actually going to last? We could feel it coming, which is why, by the way, we call out Tottenham, because we know what it's like when you're playing like that.
Yep.
The rules say it's an offside when you interfere with play. Stevie Wonder can see Rashford's presence is around the ball. Shielding and feinting is obviously interfering. Bro, so I agree with you, but the law doesn't state that what Rashford did is interfering with play. That's the point that's being made. You are right to think that, but interfering with play, like stepping out the way of a ball, like running hard at a ball and then stopping your run is not considered interfering, unfortunately. So you're right.
That's why they don't put the flag up or blow when you touch the ball, because running towards the ball is not considered offside. Like
100%. In previous years, if we were winning with 5 minutes to go, City would have gone for our neck to get the equalizer, but the last 5 minutes they did nothing. I'm going to say this, Nakavia, though. We stopped them. Man United stopped City in that last little pit. Like they were getting down the flanks, they just weren't able to get the balls in. There was that cross that Luke Shaw took off the head of Haaland as well in like the 93rd minute. And I was like, Luke Shaw, I love you. This comment here says, big up the City fan on the panel. Oh, sorry, we already had that one there. Thank you very much. I wanted to ask you guys a question, though. I wanted to ask you all a question. Right now, and I want to speak to Nobbins first as a neutral to this to a degree. How good is Marcus Rashford?
This season, generally?
I mean, just... he's over him as an individual overall, and coupled with what you're seeing this year. How good do you think he is?
I think he is a good player who could become a great player if he maintains this level for the next 2 or 3 years. Because greatness of a footballer, in my opinion, isn't about having one very good season. It's about, okay, you've had a great season, now do it again, and now do it again, and now do it again. That's what the best players in the world do. That's what the likes of Kevin De Bruyne do. That's what the likes of Haaland has done. That's what Manchester United legends of the past have done. It's putting in consistently excellent seasons in year after year. So my take on it is, as I say, I think Rashford is good. He's having arguably a great season, but in order for me to consider him a great player, I think I need to see a bit more from him. I think before this, if we're saying this season is a truly great season, in my opinion, he's had one truly great season before this, and that was the 1920 season, the lockdown year when he was very, very good. So as I say, I need more consistency, and I need it over a longer period of time for me.
I hear that. What about yourselves, Reds? I mean, it's the best goal scoring form that he's ever been on. And he's, on fire right now. He's done it against a big team. Another match-winning goal as well. I'd love to find the stats on this. He must be one of the top players in our history now of scoring match-winning goals. He seems to have had so many. But what is your take on how good Rashford is right now?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but before last year, didn't he have back-to-back almost 30 GA seasons?
2, yeah.
Yeah, 2 back to back, right? So let's say last season was a inexplicable downturn in form, and now this is a return to the same trajectory that he was on before last season. This is a great player who is missing. He's missing the component of sometimes he has to pick his head up and find the open man. If he could add that piece to his puzzle, he might be a world class player. I'm willing to go as far as to say he might be one of the 5 best wingers on earth if he can add that little piece to his game. But he's already on the way, and I think it would be disingenuous to say that because he had a bad season last year, and obviously the Ollie run didn't really produce any trophies, that he's not a great player already. That's where
I got clipped up. I mean, I got clipped up for saying it years ago. It was years ago on this channel. I said it. Rashford is on his way to being one of the best in the world. That was 2 years ago. I said in 2 years we will be talking about him as one of the best in the world. I'm not going to walk it back. I got no reason to walk it back. I got the kid on my wall for a reason. What we're seeing from him, for me, is who he is at this stage. If he wins another major trophy this year, like if he wins an FA Cup or he wins a Europa, I'm not going to say win the league because I do think there's still ways to go. We're in the race. I'm not saying we're going to win it. That's what, 4 or 5 trophies on his name now at 25. It will now just turn into a situation where we have to respect the player he's truly become, right? It was a blip. What happened? It was a blip. He did focus on things outside of football, and I'm never going to fault him for that. He took on something that he thought was bigger than football. He was also injured, right? Like when you have a back injury, I don't know if anybody's had a back or a neck injury. Like I've had it changes your whole life. Like you can't move or do things correctly. And shame on Ollie for knowing he had a back injury and playing him through it, because you can't play through an injury like that and come out on the right side of it. So what we're seeing from Rashford now is a player who's being coached. He needs Erik ten Hag for the next couple of years. I don't disagree with, and sorry, man, what's your name, the City fan? I feel like
Nobbins.
Nobbins. I don't disagree with you in the sense where you're right. Like, I think what Rashford needs is to add major trophies now. I don't think it's going to be, I truly believe we'll see him continue to do 20 plus GAs for the next couple of years. So I think that's fine. But what for me makes a truly great player is you win the major honors. That's it. So what we're going to need to see from Rashford is lead us to a title, lead us to FA Cup, lead us to a Champions League. And then you're like, he's done it, right? That for me is what we need.
Yeah, I agree. Like he had that one season where it was poor, and there was so many things that factored into that. The club was falling apart, the team was falling apart, disciplinary issues with lots of people. You could even throw including him in that. You know, this time last year, he was telling the media that, well, if I'm not going to start games, I want to leave. Like none of this is healthy for a player. And what we didn't have that City have got, or what Liverpool have had for a long time now, is a stable club environment for young players to grow and develop in. Would Phil Foden be the player he is now if he came through the Man United Academy in this time period? And what would Rashford be if he'd have come through the City Academy? That matters significantly. City weren't producing players like Phil Foden, in my opinion, 20 years ago. They weren't. They just weren't producing players like that because they didn't financially. They weren't able to, but the club just wasn't run very well in comparison to now. So was there a base to do that? There wasn't, and I think that I said this in the summer when we booked Ten Hag in. If we get the right manager and they build the right structure at the club, you will see so many players that we've all said are dead wood improve. You've seen it with Luke Shaw. AWB is turning things around. Rashford's probably had the biggest resurgence, in my opinion, because he's gone to a level now where he's scoring at a rate and competing individually at a rate with the best attackers in the world right now. I agree with Nobbin. He has to maintain this. And then with what you said, Cam's right. He has to win the major trophies. He's got to win Champions League and he's got to win Premier Leagues. At Man United, said it before, you've got to be winning 2 or 3 Prems and or a Champions League before you're even spoken about as one of our greats. You know, a lot of other clubs, you can get a good scoring record and you're a great forever, like, and get a trophy. Like that at Man United, you ain't getting no statue for any of that. But hey, he's on his way. He's only a handful of goals away now from being in our top 10 highest goal scorers of all time. He's already got 3 trophies. He's got to add more. But yeah, look, he's just a player right now. And the fact he stayed on with that injury today, and the winning goal, even the winning goal is such a poacher's goal. He needs more of them. Right. Like the top strikers and attackers that get all them goals. You can watch their just do like a Google search and look at someone's brilliant season where they score 40 goals. Look how many goals like that they get. They probably get 8, 9, 10 like that. And they're not stat padding because they're important goals, but they don't all have to be you dribble past 2 men, cut inside, and buried it in the bottom corner. You're not scoring 40 like that a season at this level, but you need those tap-ins and those run-ins at the far post. But he looks great to me. This super chat, sorry, says, Terry, watch the media's narrative. If Arsenal or United will not win the league, it will be failure. This will be their attempt to shift the focus from the failures of Liverpool and City. Of course they'll do that because that's the nature of the media. But that is why fan media exists, and more people watch us than watch them. So we'll keep fighting a good fight, my friend. We'll keep fighting a good fight, as it were. Gentlemen, I want to thank you all for coming on. I've got to start watching more of this. I've been watching the Brighton Liverpool game, but I'm alive after that. Obviously this evening we're out in London, little football terrace meetup in London. If anybody's about, come join us. I know you're not going to come, Cam, because you're in Canada and Dobbin probably ain't going to drive down.
Well, we win the league. You might see me. You might see me in London.
Right, I bet. I'm still waiting for Alfie to turn back up on shows. Just for Alfie to turn up randomly. I'm back, guys. Been busy. Terry, check your DMs. I've sent you stats for Rashford. I will check them out. He's now 1 goal away from being on the top of the table for the most productive winger in the top 4 leagues in Europe. But there we go. What's it say here? 27 of Marcus Rashford's 67 Premier League goals have been game winners, the highest percentage of any player to score at least 50 goals in this competition. So 40% of Rashford's goals have been match winners.
Damn.
That's mad. That's mad. It's a mad. I knew he had a lot.
Clutch.
I just remember celebrating him win so many games, if that makes sense. But there we go.
That's clutch DNA right there.
I appreciate you all coming on. Make sure you're all subscribing to the Terrace live and more content for you later. I'm so looking forward to it. Now I can really look forward to the North London derby. Until next time, take care. Goodbye.
Come on,
God
you
bless.
guys.
And we'll see